Tonight on KVUE News at 5, 14 million Texans affected by water issues.
We haven't actually showered since the power went out.
How long this crisis could last for some.
And ERCOT catching criticism after it was revealed they spent less than a minute discussing the storms during a meeting right before they hit.
We have one last hard freeze warning that's in effect tonight before temperatures warm up. I am even tracking near 70-degree temperatures in the 7-day forecast.
First tonight on the news at 5, the warm-up began this afternoon. Snow and ice melting around the city. The sun shining today.
But Brian, we are not in the clear just yet. Many of Texas are still struggling without power and without water. Governor Greg Abbott says he is focusing on getting Texans what they need.
Right now we have 4 immediate priorities that we're focused on. First is ensuring that we complete the process of restoring power to Texas homes. The second focal point today is restoring water for Texans. The third thing we're focused on is ensuring that Texans have the food and water supplies they need. The fourth thing that we're focused on right now is helping our refineries get back up and running to provide Texans with the fuel they need.
The governor says he spoke with President Joe Biden about a major federal disaster declaration, which would allow storm victims to apply for help through FEMA. The president is expected to approve that declaration. And we need the help. We mentioned just a second ago, 14 million Texans facing water issues, including that boil water order here in Austin.
Now, the Texas Division of Emergency Management is sending 1.7 million bottles of water across the state of Texas right now. But millions here in Central Texas need drinkable water right now. KVUE's Darrenisha Herron has been following this all day. And Darrenisha, when can we expect more?
Brian, a lot of people are waiting for some clean drinking water. Today, during a press conference, City Manager Spencer Cronk said we have smaller amounts of drinking water coming by flight, but those most likely will be designated for hospitals and warming centers. We do have larger amounts coming by road, but of course, the travel conditions are still not favorable at this time. Look. It is hard to try to get drinking water right now. H-E-B here in Northwest Austin out of drinking water, just like many other grocery stores around our area. But the beautiful thing about all of this is that people in the community are stepping up to try to fill that need.
Almost 2 days into a boil water notice, Austinites are waiting for drinkable water to arrive in the city, and people in the community are stepping up.
We boil water, and we have potable water. We have plenty of water, so we're giving it out to the community, anybody that needs it.
Hop Squad Brewery Co. is one of many using their large boilers to provide water to those who need it, like Jackie Kinsler, who hasn't had running water for more than 24 hours.
I mean, we've got pets and us, and you have to cook, and we haven't actually showered since the power went out.
In a news conference Friday, City Manager Spencer Cronk said the city purchased 1 million gallons of bottled water from neighboring states, which is expected to arrive today and tomorrow, along with 36 pallets of water from FEMA. Leaders are still working on a distribution plan.
When the sites come online, they will operate from sunup to sundown, and we will anticipate being able to provide 1 case of water per car. We're also working with community organizations such as churches and nonprofits to coordinate pickup and delivery of water to those who are most vulnerable, including seniors and those experiencing homelessness.
Cronk admitted this won't be enough water to get us through this crisis that Austin Water said could last beyond this weekend for some. Hop Squad will continue to provide drinking water Saturday to anyone who has a jug to fill up.
Just so appreciative of everyone who's working here, who's taking the effort out of the goodness of their heart to just, to show up places and do good for the community, because we're all kind of at a loss.
The need is so strong that Hop Squad Brewery ran out of water within 3 hours. They gave away 500 gallons of drinking water. FEMA is expected to continue to bring us water by road, drinking water, but we don't know how much and how often that will be. So right now we are just waiting for a distribution plan from the county. Back to you guys in the studio.
Aisha Herring reporting for us. It's good to see the community stepping up to help others. Now, as snow and ice continue to melt, plumbers are anticipating possible problems with your pipes. So plumbers say knowing where the shutoff valves are now will allow you to turn them off faster if you ever get a leak. We spoke with an Austin family after their pipe burst in the ceiling.
It all happened so fast, and due to the sheer amount of water that was poured out, the living room caved in as well, and so basically everything from the living, kitchen, and dining areas is more or less lost.
And we'll hear more from this family tonight at 6 o'clock. We'll also hear from an insurance agent about what you need to do if this happens to you.
Going to be a lot of busy insurance agents over the next few days to weeks. We are learning more about the situation that's played out inside Austin hospitals this week and the steps that administrators took to keep the situation from becoming even worse than it was. KVUE senior reporter Tony Plahetsky talked with the CEO of St. David's Healthcare, which operates 8 facilities here in the region. Hello, Tony.
Hey, Brian, good to see you as we continue to thaw out here. Some good news. The CEO for St. David's Healthcare says all of their facilities are now running as usual, with one exception in that South Austin Medical Center. We know that there have been more acute issues over the past several days there, but conditions there improving as well. Now, throughout the week, we know that hospitals faced issues such as a lack of water and a lack of heat in some circumstances. We now know that nurses and other staff were forced to stay in hospitals for days, bunking in rooms together and doing jobs they ordinarily wouldn't do. I heard stories today about nurses washing dishes in the cafeteria because cafeteria workers could not make it to work.
It has been an unprecedented challenge for the system and really for hospitals generally in Texas, not just in Central Texas. There are a number of hospitals around the area that have had power outages and water outages and are still working to try to recover from those. Absolutely unprecedented.
David Huffstadler says that St. David's has emergency plans in place and that many of those plans came together exactly like they were supposed to, but other plans went awry. Here's an example. Water trucks were so frozen that they could not operate properly. Jenny and Brian, I want to remind everybody, of course, what has unfolded in hospitals over the past week comes as hospitals and staff have spent months dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, but nurses and other staff told me today that this was yet another way that they were all able to come together for their patients.
And we should all be thanking them yet again. Tony Plahetsky live for us today. Tony, thank you very much for that report. ERCOT leaders spent less than a minute, less than 60 seconds discussing winter storm preparedness at a nearly 2.5-hour meeting back on February the 9th, this month, just 2 days before the winter storm started hitting the state of Texas. ERCOT leaders say they issued an operating condition notice to make sure that all staff members were up to speed and ready for the winter weather. Obviously, they weren't. Because of the outages, Governor Greg Abbott has now declared an emergency legislative item to reform ERCOT.
Now, ERCOT also telling us today they've resumed normal operations today, but some are still without power. And Austin Energy will not restore power to everyone tonight. Now, the update posted on Twitter shows it may take several more days, adding some outages will take more time to restore, depending on the nature of the outage and where it's located. Not good news for residents like Tristan Mendez in South Austin, who hasn't had power since Sunday.
We've gone through power outages with like torrential rainstorms, but never days without water or anything like that. That's been the toughest part, is just getting used to it.
Citywide, power is restored to about 96% of customers, but 21,000 still need electricity.
And keep in mind, even though we're warming up for our afternoon highs, we're not completely done with the cold until tonight. We still have one more last hard freeze warning that's in effect until tomorrow morning. That's because temperatures are expected to drop yet again into the 20s and into the teens. Here's a look at your overnight lows that are expected tonight. 22 degrees out in Austin. Still some upper teens for the hill country. Our eastern counties will have a mixture of low 20s and also upper teens. But yes, the sun was shining today, giving us the glimmer of hope that we've all been waiting for. That eventually did warm up our temperatures pretty nicely. Low 40s, mid 40s for the Austin airport at Camp Mabry. Our official high at Camp Mabry was 42 degrees, so it actually surpassed what our forecast high was, which I do not think anyone is complaining about that. High pressure is sitting on top of us. That is what's given us the sunny skies, the warmer afternoon highs, but still cold overnight lows. Here's a look at the warming trend that's in place, even including a weak front that's expected to push through this weekend. We still stay in the 50s and 60s. It's looking warmer and fabulous.
Does look fabulous to me, Erica. Thank you very much. We'll see you again in a few minutes from now. Coming up here on the news at 5, price gouging could be an issue in the near future. Where you can report it.
Plus, several claims about the dangerous winter storm popped up over the past week. Our Verify team looks into some of them.
Welcome back to KVUE News at 5. Something to look out for during this time is price gouging. It's illegal for a company to sell fuel, food, medicine, plumbing supplies, batteries, disaster supplies at an excessive price during a state of emergency, which we're in. So if you see any of this happening, you can report it directly to the state attorney general's office. That's texasattorneygeneral.gov. All right, Jenny, we're talking about the forecast now. We've had a rough week, but the sun was shining today, and there was so much ice and snow melting. It sounded like rainfall outside
right,
today.
It scared me because it was hitting my patio door, and I was startled. My dogs are running there. But Erica Lopez, it is a good sign, right? Things are melting finally.
Yes, melting indeed. But because of the fact that all that ice and snow is melting throughout the day, roads are still going to be slippery, which is fine to drive in right now, but it's tonight. With the additional freezing temperatures we're still expecting tonight. One last night, Central Texas. Then we're out of the woods for at least the short-term forecast. I don't see any more freezing temperatures after tonight. Hard freeze warning in effect from 9 p.m. tonight to 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's when lows are going to drop to the teens and also to the 20s. Meaning, again, any liquid that's on the ground, we're still going to wake up to slippery road conditions, still very dangerous. Please use caution. We're not quite done just yet. So again, 22 degrees, our overnight low forecast for us in Austin. Some teens out in the hill country. Same thing for our eastern counties. I would say as cold as about 17, 18 degrees and as warm as the low 20s. But yes, the sun felt magnificent. I saw so many photos of just the sun shining, and even some folks finally able to enjoy the snow now that we know it's thawing out and it's going to leave us. Even though I know a lot of us are still dealing with electricity and water issues. But silver lining is that it's getting warmer from here. 44 degrees at the airport right now, 42 at Camp Mabry. Humidity is low, meaning we're still going to have warmer afternoons ahead with the cold mornings. But again, today is the coldest day in the 7-day forecast. Our official highs were at 43 at the airport and 42 at Camp Mabry. Last 20 hours, here's a look at that warm up. I've just enjoyed showing this graphic or seeing this graphic throughout today because we haven't made it to the 40s. As a matter of fact, I remember it seems like it was about a week and a half ago. I was telling Brian, hey, we're going to make it to the 40s by at one point I forecast, I think it was like Tuesday of this past week. It's Thursday. We finally made it to the 40s. I know Brian remembers when I was mentioning that. High pressure is in control now. So again, that's going to give us the sunshine for the next few days. 3-day forecast, warming us up in the afternoons, 10 degrees warmer tomorrow afternoon, 60s, an additional 10 degrees warmer by Sunday. I do see a weak front that's going to push through Sunday, only dropping us a couple degrees, and we'll be mainly dry with that front. It's going to bring in a spotty shower, but for the most part, all of us will stay dry, and that's just going to reinforce some more spring-like conditions. So we said goodbye to snowy conditions. Winter weather is out of here, warming up with sunny skies. Again, small rain chance as we head into the end of the weekend. Where I'm tracking better rain chances is late next week. Now, this is still about a week out. Computer models are showing about 50 to 60% chance of scattered showers that will be possible Thursday into Friday. We'll be monitoring that system, that cold front looking a little wetter. But let me walk you through the 7-day forecast. Gorgeous weekend. Again, I hope we're able to get to a better situation here in Central Texas. I know we're not completely done with the repercussions of all of this winter weather, but even 70s in the forecast by Wednesday. Again, I would say the most active period in the 7-day forecast is about a week from now with a cold front that's a Pacific front. We're done with Arctic fronts for now at least, and that's going to bring us those scattered showers possible Thursday into Friday.
I do remember, Erica, and the fact that you said today's the warmest of the next 7 is a wonderful thing. Thanks, Eric. A lot of claims popping up during the severe winter weather, and we've had our verified team working around the clock to break down claims and rumors.
Jason Puckett joins us now, breaking down the biggest claims we've seen this week.
Thanks to everyone for sending us questions throughout the week. It helps us spot the viral claims and rumors and break down what's really going on. Let's start with the winter weather in the south central U.S. this week. And the question, were wind and solar power the main causes of widespread power shortages in Texas? Millions of Texans were without power, and politicians, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller, pointed fingers at renewable energy sources, saying they're to blame. But is that what actually happened? No. ERCOT, the company that manages about 90% of Texas' electrical grid, reported that more than 60% of the power loss was caused by limited gas supplies, low gas pressure, and frozen instrumentation. So these claims are false. Did you see the claims about the Farmer's Almanac predicting the severe winter weather? Well, a viral TikTok video led to posts claiming the almanac predicted the weather down to the exact date. Now, the almanac was close. It does predict snow and wintry weather for February, but it was off on the dates by about a week, and it was off on the severity of the storm as well. So yes, it did predict a winter storm, but there's not enough accuracy in this claim, so this is false. Finally, a question of storing food outside in cold weather. Loss of power meant that many people's fridges were thawing inside while the temperatures outside their homes were below freezing. So can you just move the food outside until the power is back? Well, the DHHS and research from North Dakota State University say no because of variable temperatures, unsanitary outdoor conditions, and/or disturbances by animals. Even exposure to sunlight can make food spoil. Instead, they say use your fridge like an old-fashioned icebox or consider putting a cooler in an unheated indoor space like a garage. Claim false. Folks, if you see a claim or rumor that you want us to look into, send us an email. With your Verify, I'm Jason Puckett.
7-day forecast sponsored by Subaru of Georgetown. Exceptional value and the Subaru of Georgetown difference. Convenient in-home buying process available at SubaruGeorgetown.com.
With more KVUE News sponsored by Ashley Furniture. Visit ashleyfurniture.com today.
Welcome back to KVUE News at 5. Well, Austin area businesses and people are stepping up in a big way to help their neighbors all across the city.
I love these stories. Cultural reporter Brittany Flowers caught up with a few of the people doing what they can to lend a helping hand.
Thank you so much. You guys We actually surpassed $10,000 in 3 hours.
Food blogger Jane Coe from A Taste of Cocoa teamed up with a few local groups to start a winter relief GoFundMe. They've raised more than $90,000 and counting. Part of that money is providing hot meals to the community, some is going to feeding hospital staff, and some is going to help local restaurants that lost needed funds from Valentine's weekend.
It's not that restaurants don't want to open, it's that their staff can't even get to the stores, and they need this money because a lot of service industry lives paycheck to paycheck.
The pipes at restaurant El Patio froze, so they decided to take their misfortune and turn it into a good deed, making more than 300 enchiladas for hospital employees and handing out free food to UT students. While El Patio has been around for 66 years, there's also some new Austinites who have risen to the occasion.
My wife and I actually moved down to Austin on January 3rd.
That's Brad Stuver, goalkeeper for Austin FC. The team wanted to do something to help their new city, so they started a GoFundMe benefiting the 4ATX Foundation.
Being one of the only professional teams, the only professional team here in Austin, I think it's really important for us to be part of this community and dive all in.
And one thing that makes this city special is the people's spirit to give back to the community.
I'm so grateful for Austin because I think in moments of crisis, as I have experienced in the past, whether it's a hurricane, whether it's COVID, is that my community will rally with me.
In Austin, I'm Brittany Flowers.
Great job by all involved. Brittany, thank you. Deep Eddy Vodka, Kendra Scott, so many other places and people lending a helping hand. Brittany said she could barely keep up with so many she found out about today.
Brian,
that's great.
So many restaurants offering free food today. Well, stick with us after the break. We'll have a final check in forecast with Erica Lopez.
This is Charlie.
Oh.
KVUE's Terry Gruca's neighbor brought him inside the house because it was cold. Charlie got cold. You see he's got a blanket there. But now he won't go back outside. Charlie said, nope, I've learned how the good half lives and I'm staying in. He's an indoor donkey now.
Who can blame Charlie, right?
I can't blame you, Charlie. You stand your ground, Charlie.
That's awesome.
I'm sure he found where all the snacks are. He's going to find the remote and see how to watch KVUE next, right?
That's right. And I've got a whole new respect. You know, I thought donkeys might not be the smartest of animals, but apparently,
oh yeah,
they're smart.
And they kick if they, if he wanted to stay inside the whole time.
That's funny. Charlie, good for you. Thanks for joining us for the news at 5. We'll see you back here at 6.